Let's talk about certain essential pillars for optimal metabolic health. I'm going to list a few essential signals that we all give every day, and how to optimize them is what we're going to talk. The first pillar that I'm going to talk about is diet. Next one is exercise. These two are the foundational principles and foundational pillars for the rest of the things that I'm going to talk. The third one is sleep. Number 4 is stress. Stress to the body, internally, externally, to the entire system, your mind, everything is part of the body. Number 5 is sunlight, which is not just light but also exposure to heat and cold outside. And number 6 is ultimately and finally spiritual. Now remember, all these 6 work only when they are done consistently over a long period of time. So doing a little bit and a small amount in small incremental doses over a longer period of time works better than doing a lot of it and then stopping it for a short while and then redoing it and stopping it. So the essential principles that work here is body always follows a basic physiological principle called homeostasis, which means the laws of diminishing returns apply. I will show you that on a graph for you to understand. It means if you do any signal more and more and more, and if this is the time, and if this is the quantity that we measure, after some time by giving any signal, you plateau. So the response kind of plateaus and there's no more. So any kind of this signal when you give constantly over a period of time, the law of diminishing returns applies and the response plateaus and you will not get any more. So this is how it works. So to remember this concept, and also one more thing, like if I want to plot, let's say for instance, the benefits of decrease in anything that we are looking for, like decrease in mortality, decrease in severity of diabetes, hypertension, or anything that you want to do, if you do it, there's another curve that you can put, what is called as a U-shaped curve. So if you intervene with anything beyond a certain point, let's say you get benefit from something and the risk or mortality or something like that decreases to a point where there is a sweet spot here, and then after some time the opposite effect happens if you do more. So you always have to look at that sweet spot. So one of the important things that works for this is everything here is about timings, which is the rhythms that we follow in our body. So the most important thing for any of these things when you apply is too much of anything or too little of anything is the problem. So there's always a sweet spot. So for instance, diet. You should always fast, and too much fasting is not really optimal. At the same time, this has to be followed by feasting, fast and feast. Exercise, rest and activity, exercise and activity. So rest is the basis of activity. Sleep and wake cycle. So these are all about timings and following rhythms. Stress is about internal, external, personal stress, individual stress, family stress, community stress. All these are signals. Stress needs to be optimized. Stress is very important for us to do our activities and make it work for us. So too much or too little is the question. Same thing with sunlight, movement in the sun, walking in the sun, exposure to cold, exposure to heat. These are all activities that we need. Finally, the last one which everybody talks about is the spiritual. What I would put it as connecting everything. Whatever you do, any of this is connecting is what we call connecting your activities to timings and yourself in a proper way to achieve excellence, because we are all driven for not being mediocre. We are always trying to be going to that excellence. So trying to achieve that excellence with anything that you do, with that specific connection, whatever connection you have, is the final one, which is the spiritual connection. So let's keep our curiosity, let's keep our enthusiasm, and let's keep our willingness to know more about metabolic medicine. When I see you next time, take care.